AgNow Weather time, Matt Makens here. There's a lot of water headed toward parts of the Midwest, the upper Midwest, throughout the Corn Belt, and on down to the South. So in part of your hazards outlook for the coming week to 2 weeks, a lot of rain. We're going to focus on this area first off, heavy rainfall the 20th through the 21st. So watch out for Iowa all the way up into the Great Lakes. We also have heavy rainfall in these pockets to the southeast, and that'll be anywhere from the 18th through the 19th. Upwards of the 20th and 21st as well. Flooding is possible in parts of Idaho, as well as some other isolated areas of the Rockies and out toward the west and the Cascades, Sierras, just a snowmelt and additional rainfall. So there's some isolated flooding conditions there. There's another item here to point out. Hazardous heat for South Texas and South Florida. I'll have more on those records in a moment. Beyond this week into next week, heat is going to be the biggest issue across the South. Winds will be an issue across the Four Corners into the high plains. Wind drying that soil out and also providing heightened fire dangers in those areas. So this is a quick summation there of the hazards coming our way. And that's not to say that active weather isn't going to hit you. Those are just the most hazardous of those hazard areas, if you will. And as always, watch out for severe weather this time of the year, whether it be Twitter, Mastodon, Facebook, what else is it? Threads even. I try to post the Outlook maps there for day-to-day breakdowns because I don't know when you're watching this video or any of my other videos. Maybe it's late to the game or something, but you can always catch those up-to-date outlooks, hazards on my social media channels. Let's chat now about the soils. We have a big change coming in our soil moisture conditions recently, and we'll have additional changes on the week to 10 days ahead. So current soil moisture, the map is improved in areas versus the last time I showed you a similar map, and most of that's right around here in the Midwest. We've also added a lot more water into Texas, the Gulf Coast states, and to the east, where we're still battling dry conditions. Southeastern Colorado, southwestern Kansas, into the panhandle of Texas, as well as New Mexico, Arizona, and far western Texas. Drought concerns there, and Minnesota also has some soil moisture issues. Now, going forward, we have a lot of water to come. So let's just go through the timeline. You're going to get a lot of water, especially if you're in the Midwest, upper Midwest Corn Belt. So let's just walk through the times here. And most notably, as we go through the timeline here, which goes through 10 days, watch out for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday across the Midwest, the northern plains into the Midwest. There's going to be a line of thunderstorms. It develops over Colorado, Wyoming, pushes eastward. That may be severe and also produce heavy rainfall. Beyond that, we're going to head toward Wednesday, another line of potentially severe, damaging thunderstorms. Later next week, into the Friday, around the 24th, there's going to be a big complex of storms that arrives into Iowa from the northwest. And again, these series of storms as they come through, I'll highlight 3 times now, I think, which will have some great impact, and you really need to have them on your radar because they may not only be severe, but with a lot of rainfall, and you're seeing those snapshots now. In terms of total moisture that could be on the way, there's 2 ways of looking at this as I see it. There's always the generalized map of estimated precip totals, and you're probably seeing some from a variety of sources. They may be cherry-picked individual model runs that look excessive. There may be all kinds of things. This particular map, and the ones that I usually show you, are a blend, a combination of models coming together to give you a good baseline average. It's a good estimate rather than looking at one model versus another in most cases. So precip on the way, you can see where we're focusing on. It's certainly not here in the Southwest, very dry. It's here across the central U.S., all up and down the Mississippi, and then again from East Texas to the southeast. That's a lot of water. I'm going to fly this map in. We'll zoom in here. So we have Rhinelander up on the north side, kind of on the deeper colors here, and Fort Smith to Conway on the south side of that. And everyone in between. That includes Jefferson City. It includes Des Moines. These kind of locations are likely to exceed 2 inches of water. Some will hit 3, some will hit 4, some will hit 5, some will hit 6 inches. It's a lot of water over the next 10 days. That's, again, kind of the average of a blend of models coming together. There are other ways of thinking about precipitation. And I internally to other clients show this kind of product because it breaks down thresholds of amounts. And I really like Bar 7's Instagram feed. He does a really great job talking about ranching and ranch life. He had a post about losing a couple of animals due to some flooding, and that the amount of water that he received was just excessive. It went far above what was forecast. Well, the forecast number is that average number. But if we think about in the ag industry, we can't just think about average numbers, right? We like margins. We like max potential, min potential in our average in that way. So that's why I've kind of break this down into 4 different chunks here. So let's think of that precip coming our way the next 10 days as threats or risk levels or thresholds, if you will. So 1/4 inch probabilities. That's just about everybody get water. You're going to get 1/4 of an inch. As you look at 1/2 inch to 1 inch totals to 3 inch total probabilities. Again, this is the probability of reaching or surpassing 3 inches. And you can see these areas. Everyone kind of in that same bullseye, from northern Mississippi all the way down to the Delta region. These probabilities here are kind of merging on the 50, 60, 70 percentile range. So not only is the model average a lot of water, you look at the actual probability of receiving that much water, and you can see we're focused here on that Mississippi Valley from north to south for receiving the most amount of rain. So 2 ways of thinking about moisture on the way. One is a good baseline, but the other gets a bit more specific on what our max potential may be. And tying this into ag, if you get that average precip number, know that there's a high total and a low total that you may get. And you really should reach out if you're needing to know kind of the maximum potential or minimum potential. I have clients, one for example, does a lot of hay in Oklahoma. So we really do worry about max potential, min potential, and the average, rather than just that one number that you may get. I know. I'm rambling at this point, so let's just move on. Here's a look at the snow forecast. We have a good deal of snowfall coming in some of the mountains there in Wyoming as well as Montana. Big time bullseyes here west of Calgary, so up around Banff. Deep snows coming there to Canada, but you know, we're kind of running out of our snow season, so it's still kind of nice to show the map at least for some of that water reserves that we're saving for runoff here as we head into summer. Back to that hazards map, remember this area of heat down to the south, and I promised you a look at the record temperatures that may be set, and here's a look at that map. So record highs to be set this week include New Mexico, a lot in Texas for triple-digit heat. We have Arkansas, Louisiana, potentially Kentucky, and a lot throughout Florida. Problem is for Florida and Texas, it's coming through in a very dry phase during a time of year where conditions can dry out too rapidly. So look for a flash drought in parts of South Texas, West Texas, central to southern Florida. Flash drought meaning things just dry out in a heartbeat. So we can see some drought numbers increasing in those areas. That is a look at this week's AgNow weather forecast. Sorry for all the rambling. I'll see you next time.